Are we live? Hello, everyone. Are we now finally live inside the Ignite Your Joyful Heart Facebook group? Oh my gosh, you're going to see my hands. So I got to double check. I'm live on my phone. If you're here, please comment. I'm trying to figure this out. Wow, what an experience this has been today. It's already 12:30. Yeah, I got to get used to this camera. Trying to figure out, okay, if I am live in the group, needing to go on in the group. Yes, I am. Okay. Whew. Welcome, 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 everyone. See? Whoops, boom. Let me see if I can figure this out. The right place to set it. Welcome to today's Makeshift Happen, the spiritual variety show. Oh my goodness, finally, 30 minutes later. Whew. So everyone, as you welcome, as you come into this sacred space, just take a deep breath. And maybe that's all this is going to be today, is just about coming together into a sacred container, into a sacred space, taking a deep breath, and allowing all the frustrations of the day to just fall away, fall away, fall away. Allowing all of that to just drop away. Just take that deep breath and take it down, down, down into your heart space. So question today is, how are you, how do you react when you have things that are frustrating coming on to you, that you're being surrounded by, that you're working on? That's kind of how today's been. Working with my bank earlier today in regards to being able to log into my account, was on the phone, on the computer with them for over almost an hour. Could not get things figured out. So the rest of it, it's, you gotta let it go, right? I was sitting here at 11:55, if not a little bit earlier, like, oh good, I'm on time, I'm gonna get on time. And wow, the technical issues via computer, they're like, okay, what can I do next? It's just not working to go live today. So what, I'm like, okay, well, let's try my phone. After working for the last 30 minutes, trying to get online. So what do you do, and how do you do? Because there was a calmness within me. There was a calmness within me. I knew I sent the message to you all to say technical issues, yet I am going to persevere. I am going to figure this out, because I have made a commitment to show up every Wednesday at noon. Yes, it's already half past noon, yet there's no beating ourselves up when we cannot make things happen in the time that we feel like we should be. Does that make sense? How many times, ladies, how many times do you beat yourself up because you're not right there? And when you told yourself you would be, or when you committed to somebody else you would be, and then we go into this self-deprecation of beating ourselves up, and then so many times, if we don't catch ourselves, it's going to go into a downward spiral. If you can hear me, please let me know. Please let me know if you can hear me. So so we know where to continue on with. As we go through life, one of the things I wanted to talk about today is as we go through life, there will be those times and those situations where we get tied up in knots. And working through those knots of not allowing ourselves to be tied up. What are some of those ways that you make that happen? What are some of the ways that I know we've talked about this before. I wanted to actually go into something else today, but this seems really relevant right now. Of how are you? How do you act and react when things do not go your way? Because I know that's happening a lot recently. It's been happening for months. Do you know that when you get all pissed off and irritated and frustrated and you don't take care of those energies, those thoughts, those feelings, when you let them percolate, that energy of that can wreak havoc in other areas of your life. Case in point, this morning I'm on with the bank, as I shared with you. I'm on my computer. I can't get into my account. Okay, well, we'll get customer service on with you. And then that lady tries to help me. It's just not working. And yes, it's frustrating, but how am I reacting within the frustration of the experience? Do you understand what I'm saying here? How are we, how are you, how am I reacting in the midst of a frustrating experience? How do you do that? Do you allow the frustration to be there, yet also allow yourself to breathe deep and breathe into the heart space and allow that frustration to be there? Not dismiss it, allow it to be there, but with your heart space, with you being in your heart space, in that energy of that frustration now can find a place to go into the heart. Into the heart. Because then as I'm talking to this woman that's trying to help me, and I'm being honest with her, and I can feel her frustration, and I just say, this is really frustrating, isn't this? And I just kind of giggle, because it really was frustrating for both of us, because neither one of us could figure out the reason of why I couldn't get into my account online. And now, later. So in that moment of being with the frustration, of talking about the frustration with the other person I'm in the conversation with, allowing it to rise up and come to point, not dismissing it, because then it's actually when you dismiss how you're really feeling in the moment, you dismiss part of you. You dismiss part of you when you dismiss your feelings. And when you dismiss the feelings of others. How many of you have children? How many of us have said to us when somebody's crying, when they're in pain, oh, get over it. Doesn't mean you're gonna baby or a son. You know, a lot. I see that a lot with men, or even with mamas with their boys. Oh, get over it, because we gotta make sure he's a tough one. That he grows up through life with being tough. But you know, when we do that, men are taught that they should not be in touch with their feelings. I even allow my grandkids, when they're frustrated, like, because I've even seen this with women I work with. So much gets stuck in their throat, in their voice. Me too. That's happened to me too. Because I could never speak my truth when I was growing up. It's something I somehow, by grace, taught my children to speak their truth as they were growing up. But when we don't allow our children to speak their truth, and I'm not saying about being disrespectful, because that's one of the things I taught my children, is to speak their truth, because you can also speak it with a tone of respect. So when their tone was snotty, I would take a breath, because I knew it wasn't directed at me. Even when my children said, "I hate you, Mom," I would smile, because I knew it wasn't that they hated me. They hated the situation, or they hated not circumstance, the result. They hated the maybe punishment of the grounding, or no Atari. Yeah, that's how old. For like, "Oh, I hate you, Mom. Oh, you're so mean, Mom. Blah, 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 blah." But I allowed them to say that, because our children need to know that they can speak their truth without getting in trouble. I would say, "Okay, now watch your tone and repeat what you want to say." And they would. There is a lot of difference in the tones that we speak with. They can sound demeaning. They can sound diminishing. They can even sound childish. Coming out of our own mouths as adults. So today is about taking awareness, being aware of the tone that you speak with, to yourself and to others. So last night, this is funny, I did not know I was going to share this. So last night, I'm going out with my dad. We're going to go have a steak. So what does my husband lay out for supper? He lays out steaks. And I said, "You're making steaks tonight?" "Well, yeah," he said. Like, "Well, I'm not going to be here." "Well, I know that." "So you're making steaks knowing I'm not going to be here. Where you're going to go have a steak. Why can't I have a steak?" And just the way, I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "What?" And I'm like, wow. Because the way he was speaking to me was a very childish tone. So we have, so there's a saying that we use. Would you like a do-over on that? Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's one of the things we use. Would you like a do-over on that? Okay, so I was laughing so much inside of me that I didn't even say that. Because their case in point was a tone of childish behavior. So how many times do we, and I have practiced this for a very long time. I even think that maybe sometimes after I say something, I will like, wow, how was my tone there? And some of my, even my own clients, I'll ask them like, how was that tone? Like, did I just offend you with something? Or I'll be talking to somebody and then we hang up. I'm like, ooh, how did I hang up? Was that disrespectful? And then I'll call that person back just to check in, to make sure of how is my tone when I'm speaking. So if the one thing, because I know I came on here late today. So if one thing, if you get this from today, is what are the tones that we're speaking to others with? How are we speaking to our children? How are we speaking to really important people in our lives? What tones are we using? There's a big thing about sarcasm tone. The sarcasm tone within the words. How many of you experience that? To me, it's rampant in this area where I live, which is major Russia, Germany. Yes, a lot of these German community, within probably 30-mile radius, that came over here from Russia, Germany. And there's a sarcasm in their voice. And my husband, he's one of these. My father-in-law. I know some women too. It's not just the men. And they're not really keen on being asked to repeat what they're saying in a different tone of voice, because so many of them have grown up with this tone. They probably brought it with them. There is a tone, and sarcasm, the tone of sarcasm can pierce your heart and dampen your spirit. That's truth. That is one thing, one area I would always have my kids and me check me. I would check myself on that, and I'd make sure my kids are checked on that too. Speaking with sarcasm, no, not allowed in our home. Okay, I'm going to check so I'm going to check the text chat. Wow. See, I'm still a little combobulated from being so late today with technical things not working. Hi, Christina. Hi, Carol. So, Christina, let me know. Are you getting what I'm saying? Carol's already piped in, and this is so what I needed to hear today. and you are late coming on, which means I get to listen. Things are aligning. Ooh, I want to hear more about that, girl. So, but I do have an appointment at 1, so I do have to be off of here right on time. Okay, so how are we speaking to our children? Do you have to catch yourself? And when you catch yourself, can you applaud yourself for saying, yeah, I caught myself? Can you correct yourself and say, yes, I corrected myself? Can you even go back to the person and say, I apologize to you for speaking in that tone? Never say sorry. That word, there is a difference between sorry and I apologize. There's like this sorry, I'm so sorry. It's like a habit. Well, I have a client right now. We're working really, like, language is so vital in our life. The power of our language. And there are people that get into this habit of saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Wherever they go, I'm sorry. It's like the only time one of the things with her homework, the only time you say sorry is when you're playing the game. Sorry. There is a heaviness to that word that can actually keep people blocked down, weighted down. I apologize is such a higher vibration. I had to apologize to Callie yesterday. Oh, I don't turn off my notifications. Oh well. Wow, Carol, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. I wonder how that made you both feel. Was she shocked that and good job, Mama. Good job. Because there are times when we need to apologize to our children because we're not perfect. We are not perfect, and that is okay. I even tell my grandchildren that. When they say, well, what about this and what about that? I'm like, you know what, guys? It's usually my grandsons because they're the oldest. Well, Naomi's the oldest. Okay, can't forget about her. But my grandsons are here a lot. And they don't understand adults. And so I'm the one that explains a lot of things to them. And I just tell them that we might be adults. Our age might be an adult age, but that doesn't mean that we know everything. And our kids are thinking we do. Because sometimes that's how we present ourselves to them. I flat out told my kids when I was raising them, for instance, when I would pick them up from school, I would say, Mama is having a bad day. So I really could use you guys on your best behavior. I really need that today. Didn't happen very often, but that way they know. They know why Mom is emotional or grouchy or weird or whatever the word could be. Bitchy. Even one of my girls one time were like, Mom, why are you being such a bitch? Now, she's not calling me a bitch. She's calling the actions or the tone of my voice is being bitchy. Allowing our children to have this freedom to speak their truth, to be guided in that. How many of you were not able to do that? Do you know there has been, since April, there has been an uprise, an increase of over 30% suicides in children, in our young ones? Can you imagine if they were able to speak their truth? That could shift some of this energy? Like that they could speak their truth and not be condemned for it. To speak your truth and to be accepted. Wow. To be acknowledged. To be seen in your own truth. To be seen in your truth. To be heard in your truth. Are we doing that for others? And are others doing that for us? I want to leave you with those thoughts today. And if not, how can we start to change that today? Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for hanging out until I was finally here. And I'm even saying thank you to me for not judging myself. See, there's emotion with that. Thank you to myself, to me, for not judging myself, for getting on here late with all the technical issues that were happening. And so thank yourself too. Can you thank yourself for being the amazing person that you are? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining today. This is Tammy Lee with the Emerald Compass, right here live every Wednesday at noon with the Make Shift Happen spiritual variety show. If there's other things you want to comment on, share, just bring it here in the group or send me a personal message and we'll get this party going even more than what it already is. Thank you.